Hey, in this video, I'm going to show you how to create SEO content that actually ranks on the first page of Google. And watch until the end because I'm going to show you something that 99.9% of people ignore, but it produces massive SEO results. Let's dive right in. Hey, my name is Nathan Gotch. I'm the founder of gotchseo, and I've led hundreds of successful SEO campaigns in the toughest verticals like legal, health, and B2B. And I've also trained thousands of SEO professionals in my program, gotchseo Academy. So if you're new here, this is part 6 in this SEO Mastery training series, and all of the previous lessons will be below the video. So make sure you subscribe right now and hit the bell button because you'll get first access to the next video in this series. So if you're excited about this video, like it right now and let's dive in. So the first question is, what is SEO content? Well, I break SEO content into 2 categories. Number 1, keyword-driven content, which is content that is targeting a qualified keyword. I'll explain what it means for a keyword to be qualified in a second. Number 2 is link bait, which is content designed to attract backlinks, but isn't necessarily keyword-driven. Now, it certainly can target a keyword, but it's not a requirement. I'll give some examples later on in this training. Now, ideally, you'll want to use an 80-20 split when creating these 2 different types of SEO content. 80% of your SEO content should be keyword driven, while the other 20% should be designed with the intent of acquiring backlinks. But with that said, let's start with keyword driven content. So here's how to create a piece of SEO content that actually ranks. Number 1, identify a qualified keyword. So I tackled keyword research in a previous video in this series, so make sure you watch that. However, let me show you how to quickly find and qualify a keyword. So go into Semrush, enter your domain, and then click on the keyword gap tool and enter your organic competitors domains. And if you aren't sure who your organic search competitors are, go to the organic research tab and click on competitors. Enter these domains into the keyword gap tool. Then scroll down to the results and click on the missing tab. These are the keywords that your competitors are ranking for, but your website is not. And now you're going to need to filter through these keywords. So go to the keyword difficulty filter and select very easy. Now add any keywords that are relevant to the website and what you offer to your list. And I recommend starting with keywords with clear bottom of the funnel transactional intent. For example, I'd try to rank for a keyword like Santa Monica car accident lawyer because it's towards the bottom of the sales funnel and has a greater chance of converting into a qualified lead. Now, if you're not able to find anything worth targeting, then you'll need to loosen the keyword difficulty filter, or you'll need to analyze a different set of competitors. So once you've decided upon a keyword, it's time to analyze the search results. For this example, I'm going to use Santa Monica car accident lawyer. So if you click on your target keyword inside Semrush, it will take you to the keyword overview section. Now you'll see that this keyword phrase only gets 90 searches per month. But remember that intent is what matters more than search volume. The truth is that you can find high volume keywords all day and drive tons of vanity traffic to your website, but it likely won't convert. The goal of doing SEO is to make more money. And that's why you must prioritize keywords with transactional intent first and then work your way up the sales funnel. So with that said, a Santa Monica car accident lawyer doesn't need a ton of leads because one big case could be worth $100,000 or more. So copy the keyword, open up an incognito window, open Google, and enter the keyword. Now you need to take note of what you find in the search results. In this case, there are ads, a local pack, and people also ask. And it's important to take note of these SERP features because they're opportunities for you to capture more SERP real estate. And yes, the goal is to rank on organic results, but what if you could show up multiple times for the same keyword? That greatly increases your odds of capturing more potential leads. So based on these search results, you can expect a lower CTR even if you were to rank well because the traditional organic results are being pushed down below the fold. Now, the next step in this process is to analyze the competitors on a quantitative basis. And don't worry, this isn't super difficult. You're just going to use data to get a better idea of what you're up against. So first, how many backlinks will you need to rank? Go to the keyword overview section, enter your keyword, and scroll to the SERP analysis. Get the average number of referring domains for the top 10. And in this case, it's roughly 3 referring domains. And then next, you need to identify what the appropriate word count is for your target keyword. So go to the SEO content template tool, enter the target keyword, and then go down to the text length to see the ideal word count target. Now, the next part of this process is to analyze the top competitors on a qualitative basis, meaning you're going to analyze their content and see their strengths and weaknesses and commonalities among the top performing pages. So open up the top 3 competitors and some type of note-taking device like a Google Doc. In this case, I'll ignore big authority websites like expertise.com. Okay, so I'm going to analyze the competitors on a qualitative basis. So we're just going to look at the top 3 competitors for Santa Monica car accident lawyer. And really what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to see what are they doing really well. And we can emulate a lot of things that they're doing because ultimately Google is telling us that these pages are structured the correct way because ultimately they're ranking. So, A, they're doing stuff well on site or on page, and B, they probably have a nice link profile. But in this case, we're just going to analyze their actual SEO driven pages. So, and keep in mind, just because a page is ranking doesn't mean that there's no room to improve this page. But of course, if it isn't broken, don't try to fix it. So in this case, having an interstitial pop-up like this can be problematic. So I would personally, if this is my website, I would load this, have somewhat of a delay before it shows up because it is kind of intrusive to the user. I haven't even scrolled and I'm already getting blocked out by this particular interstitial. So either load this on a delay, maybe 30 seconds to a minute, or load it on the second page load. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and look at this page and see if it's optimized the appropriate way, and it is optimized well for Santa Monica car accident lawyer. So of course that's something we're going to want to have to emulate as well. And then they also optimize the meta description for Santa Monica auto accident lawyer. So they're trying to get a slight variation in there, but Google's pretty good at knowing that these are pretty much the same thing. So you don't need to get that granular as far as adding slight variations. But overall, looking at this page here, it's pretty clean. It mentions the primary keyword in the appropriate spots. So a couple key things we want to look for is just to see how many times Santa Monica is mentioned here. And it looks like it's mentioned obviously here in the H1, and we can use this little plugin here to see on the headings. It looks like it is mentioned here in the H1, so that's perfect. And so we'll want to do the same. They mention Santa Monica in the first sentence along with car accident lawyer. They've split it up a little bit, so that's not necessarily a bad thing, but if I was doing this, I'd probably have this a little more focused. However, maybe you may want to test just modeling them because they are doing super well. And we'll go down here. It's very nicely designed, and a couple key points here is whenever you have links in here, and I'm kind of helping this company here a little bit, but when we have links, there needs to be contrast because these don't actually look like links. So there needs to be contrast here just so it's clear that those actually are links. And one other thing too, which this is kind of a design flaw, but having the headlines the same color as the links can cause contrast issues as well. So one thing is make this usually black just so it's more universal, and the links will ultimately have greater contrast and ultimately get clicked on, which is the goal of a link. And overall, looking at this page, it's pretty, what you would expect, nothing super impressive. So that's actually a good sign because, it's not going to be super difficult to emulate this. And ultimately, we could probably do something much better by just adding more visuals, adding more case studies and more bottom of the funnel content, because really this particular keyword phrase, Santa Monica car accident lawyer, is very bottom of the funnel. So we're going to have bottom of the funnel content to push that user into the action that we're trying to achieve, which is for them to become a lead, right? So a lot of this informational stuff is useful, but we would ultimately want to have more bottom of the funnel content like case studies and testimonials, stories, anything that's going to persuade a prospect to become a qualified lead. So one other key point here, and one thing they're doing well, is that they are prioritizing this page in the site architecture. So that means that this is getting a lot of priority across the entire website because they placed this particular URL into the navigation. So that's really important because now it's getting a lot of site-wide coverage. So this is definitely something that you'll want to emulate if you're trying to rank for this particular keyword. All right, so let's move on to the second one here. So this one's fascinating because they're actually not even fully optimized for the primary keyword, which is Santa Monica car accident lawyers. And they do mention it a little bit on the page, like accident attorneys, and they do mention, car as well in here. But overall, this page isn't specifically optimized. So more than likely, this page is doing well. We're not going to get into the link building side of things, but it's probably doing well because they have a lot of link equity, a lot of authority to be able to rank. So this is one that I probably wouldn't model because a lot of the time you may find some anomalies in search. So this one is probably more than likely just an anomaly, and you probably wouldn't be able to rank by modeling this particular page. Okay, and the last one here is pretty similar to the first one. They've done a nice job with putting the primary keyword phrase in the first H1 here. They mention Santa Monica a few times, which is great. So to be honest, to beat these particular pages, it shouldn't be too difficult because ultimately we can optimize the pages much better than what these competitors are doing, and we can produce much better content than what they're producing. Now, this page is actually the best formatted page in my opinion because they actually do have bottom of the funnel content down here, which is perfect. And they break up the content nicely. So you know this topic isn't super fun, so what we need to do is we need to break up the content a lot to make it a much more readable. So they've done a very, very good job of this. And so this would be a good thing to emulate. And also, like I mentioned, they're doing what they need to do. They're showing bottom of the funnel content. They're showing what their team looks like. They're showing faces. So overall, this page, in my opinion, and they have testimonials here, is the best one to model or take some key pieces away from. As far as the overall experience, they also have a contact form above the fold, which is important because we want to try to drive leads as fast as possible. Like it shouldn't be a requirement that they read through all of this to become a lead. We should try to get them to become a lead as soon as they land here. We want to get that goal completion as fast as possible. But it's just important when you're analyzing competitors like these three, or really in any vertical, to take the things that are best practices, the things that they're doing well, and ultimately just try to do better, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of pages ranking on Google that aren't super impressive. So try to take the good and the bad from here and try to produce something that's better and different than what's currently ranking. So like I mentioned, if you want to be able to produce the best SEO driven content for a query like this, like Santa Monica car accident lawyer, which is really towards the bottom of the funnel, it's pretty investigative in nature. Like I mentioned, we need to focus on bottom of the funnel content. We should not be producing content that's informational in nature, because the person looking for this is not looking to learn about car accidents or learn about even how to become an attorney or the law itself. They just want to see if they can find the right attorney for their situation so they can get the best settlement possible. And that's all you're trying to do. You're trying to prove that you are the best attorney for their unique situation. And that's what these pages should be structured like. So now that you know what you're up against, you need to develop an SEO content strategy. And there are a couple of key questions to ask. Number one, what is the goal of this content? Now, this one might seem obvious, but why are you even targeting this keyword or creating this page at all? Well, in this case, the goal is to drive qualified leads from organic search. Number two, what's the intent? Now, there are 4 categories of intent that will cover most keywords you'll encounter. First is informational intent, which is at the top of the funnel. An example of this would be, what is personal injury? The next is investigative intent, which is in the middle of the funnel, and an example is Santa Monica car accident lawyer. The next is transactional, which might be the Barnes firm reviews. And the final category is navigational, like the Barnes firm. It's important to establish the intent of the keywords because it will dictate how you structure your page. Number 3, will this content need a subject matter expert? And the answer is almost always yes, but it's still important to ask. Number 4, what's your unique angle for differentiation? And this is the most important question to ask. How is your page going to be different and better than what already exists? You simply can't rehash what everyone else has already done and expect to beat them. You need to bring something new to the table and something that can't be easily replicated. Differentiation isn't always about the content itself either. Sometimes you can differentiate yourself by having a better user experience, using better design, or even custom visuals, using video, or even adding custom tools or filters. There are endless possibilities for differentiation. And the good news is that most people doing SEO never go this deep. They just throw together an article, jam some keywords into it, and pray that it works. So if you're even thinking about differentiating, then you're already ahead of the game. Number 5, what budget do we need? So based on the word count, level of expertise required, and necessary backlinks to rank, you can estimate what the budget will be to rank. Now at this point, it's time to create the content. And once it's created, I recommend running it through Semrush's real-time content check. In this example, I took a random personal injury law firm who is ranking on page 5 for the target keyword. Now, based on Semrush's analysis, it rated it as mediocre, which means that there's a lot of room for improvement. Semrush groups the scoring based on 4 categories: readability, SEO, originality, and tone of voice. This particular page has decent readability and tone of voice, but it isn't original and it isn't optimized well for SEO. So just by adding Santa Monica car accident lawyer into the first sentence, it increased the score from a 5.3 to a 7.8. Now keep in mind in this example, I pulled an existing page, so the originality score won't be high. However, when you're running a new piece of content through this tool, it should be 100% unique. Otherwise, you need to go back to the drawing board. So with that said, here are the bare minimum requirements for on-page SEO. Place the primary keyword in the URL, the title, the first H1 tag, the first sentence, and the last sentence. Just do this and you'll perform better than most of your competitors. Now, once you've optimized the content and boosted your score as much as possible, it's almost ready to publish. I also recommend creating 100% unique images and videos if you have the resources because it adds depth to the page. So with that said, once it's published, go to Semrush's on-page SEO checker and run the target keyword and URL through this tool. If you did the initial steps well, then there won't be many recommendations here, but it's still worth double checking. And if you did a nice job, the page should rank in the top 100 within a week or two. And if not, then your website isn't authoritative enough, which means you'll need to focus on link building. Now, the good news is that link building will be the focus of the next video in this SEO Mastery series, so make sure you subscribe. So now the final type of SEO content to create is link bait. And link bait is designed for the sole purpose of acquiring backlinks, which, as you may or may not know, are the biggest ranking factor in Google. In fact, according to a ranking factor study conducted by Semrush, they found that the more backlinks a domain has, the higher its position on the SERP. So some examples of effective link bait are software and tools. For example, Semrush has an insane amount of backlinks because A, it's a great tool, and B, it's easy to drive backlinks to software and tools because it's inherently linkable. One of my other go-tos for link bait is using data. And this can be data that already exists or data that you actually create. But people love linking to data because it's easily referenceable and may support whatever argument they're trying to make in their content. Okay, so now you know how to create SEO content that actually ranks, but there's a missing piece now. Most SEO content won't achieve its full potential without the most important ranking factor, which are backlinks. So in the next video, I'm going to show you my favorite and most reliable ways to acquire high quality backlinks. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell button to get notified when it goes live. And if you got value from this video, please like it and drop a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.